This week,
we're seeing similar bills being presented all over the country.
Proposed legislation would allow prosecutors to seek the death penalty for women who undergo abortions.
When they say we don't want an ICE facility here, I hope that's followed up with action.
Strong opposition to ICE confirming a 16,000-man detention facility in a Lebanon warehouse. The next day, the agency abruptly reversed its confirmation. Senator Blackburn made it official, confirming ICE is not coming to Lebanon.
I don't know of any plans for any here in Tennessee.
Governor Bill Lee claims he also knew nothing in advance about an ICE detention facility in Lebanon.
We won. The court said what it said. There's nothing unclear about that. They just don't like the result.
And a move by Republican lawmakers challenging the Marriage Equality Act. More in our This Week cover story. Hello again and welcome to another edition of This Week. Republican state lawmakers are proposing legislation that would allow the prosecution of women receiving an abortion for the crime of homicide punishable by the death penalty. State Capitol reporter Tori Gessner explains.
When it comes to abortion laws, it doesn't get much stricter than Tennessee. The state has a near total ban with no exceptions for rape or incest. Now, a new bill would make those laws even tougher, giving fetuses the same legal protections as those living outside the womb.
That individual, in my personal opinion, has the same right to live than someone who is already been born. I don't think there's some magic threshold that you cross whenever you pass through the birth canal that suddenly bestows you as an actual human being.
Republican Representative Jody Barrett talking about what he calls his equal protection bill on his podcast, The Woodshed. His proposal would make it so a woman who gets an abortion would face the same punishments as a woman who kills her baby after birth. There would be limited exceptions if a life-saving procedure unintentionally results in an unborn baby's death, or if the woman has a, quote, spontaneous miscarriage.
All we're saying is if you kill someone that is a life in being, you can be charged with whatever crimes or criminal charges that are on the books currently. And with equal protection for unborn, that means if you kill a child in the womb, you should be subject to the same penalties or same charges.
Despite Tennessee's near total abortion ban, women are still managing to get abortions, often without ever having to leave the state.
People are accessing abortion by communicating with a clinician. They have a consultation remotely, and then those medications are mailed to them in Tennessee.
According to a recent study by the Society of Family Planning, there were around 750 abortions performed in Tennessee per month from April 2022 to June 2025, the majority through telehealth. While that may seem significant, it doesn't compare to the more than 1,200 abortions performed in person in Tennessee the month before Roe v. Wade was overturned. Barrett arguing those unborn babies have just as much of a right to live as those already born.
The momentum has really started to shift in a positive manner for that type of law to get passed. And we're seeing similar bills being presented all over the country, South Dakota, Iowa, Oklahoma, Texas, and here in Tennessee as well.
Reporting in Nashville, I'm Tori Gessner.
The sponsor of the death penalty for abortions legislation pulled the bill, admitting he did not have the votes. Reports of an ICE facility coming to this massive warehouse in Lebanon set off a firestorm of controversy. Citizens didn't want it. Local elected officials were never informed it was coming. Senator Marsha Blackburn ended the discussion, posting online, announcing DHS had confirmed ICE is not coming to Wilson County. It's still not clear why ICE pulled out. It's not even clear if this saga is completely over, as there are already rumors of another location in Tennessee being looked at by ICE. When news of a potential ICE detention facility in Lebanon first broke, local leaders were caught off guard. From the Lebanon City Council to the Wilson County Commission to the Tennessee General Assembly, the confusion spanned all levels of government. An ICE spokesperson told News 2 the agency had purchased a facility in Lebanon. The unnamed spokesperson even had information about job numbers and the expected economic impact. The next day, the agency abruptly reversed its confirmation, claiming the statement was sent, quote, without proper approval. But then yesterday, Wilson County Mayor Randall Hutto confirmed ICE was indeed coming to town. He even identified this potential site, 2 massive warehouses off Highway 109 near I-840, with the capacity to house up to 16,000 detainees. Wilson Central High School is less than 2 miles away. The opposition was swift and overwhelming, with neighbors urging elected officials to do something.
My hope is that those words that I hear from Mayor Rick Bell, from County Mayor Hutto, from all of our city council members and our county commissioners, when they say we don't want an ICE facility here, I hope that's followed up with action.
But local leaders said their authority meant little in the face of the federal government.
If we tried to impose any kind of our zoning or rules or regulations on any government, from the county up to the feds, they don't have to abide by it.
Still, the Wilson County Mayor filed a resolution this afternoon calling on the County Commission to formally oppose the facility and ask the feds to reconsider. All but one county commissioner signed on. Now the situation is back up in the air. Senator Marsha Blackburn posted saying DHS has confirmed ICE isn't coming to Lebanon. But it's still not clear how we got to this point or what changed between yesterday and today. First, ICE confirmed it was bringing a detention facility to this warehouse in Lebanon, then backtracked, then confirmed again it was coming to the city of Lebanon. Here's News 2's Sam Clementi.
It's just something that this county absolutely doesn't want or need.
ICE may soon set up shop in Lebanon, and we now know where. According to Wilson County Mayor Randall Hutto, this is the property directly off Highway 109, less than 2 miles away from East Nashville Beer Works and just up the road from Wilson Central High School. It features 2 massive warehouse-like buildings totaling nearly 2 million total square feet.
I don't know that a facility of this size, I personally know for a fact that the utility district that provides water for this building that they're looking at can't supply enough water. It's just going to create a lot of hardship on the people that live here.
Based on how many detainees the mayor says could be held there, reportedly 14,000 to 16,000, the center would be among the largest in the world, on par in population with the entire LA County jail system. While Mayor Hutto says ICE is doing their, quote, due diligence, local leaders largely agree that Lebanon could not handle such a massive operation. On Monday, County Sheriff Robert Bryan shared that his office was also against it.
The vast majority have let us know it's not welcome here. Personally, I don't want it. My constituents don't want it. They've let me know that. I just don't know. I don't know how we can say it any plainer than that.
Ultimately, County Commissioner Tommy Jones says Wilson County officials nor Lebanon officials have any authority over what DHS decides to do. A spokesperson with ICE confirmed with News 2 that they have no new detention center plans to announce in Tennessee at this time. In Lebanon, Sam Clementi, News 2.
On the roads in Tennessee, there is a more than 1 in 5 chance the driver next to you does not have car insurance. That's according to a new study by U.S. News and World Report that found the volunteer state has one of the highest uninsured motorist rates in the country.
From housing to groceries and gas, the cost of living in Tennessee is climbing, and for thousands of drivers, car insurance is one of the bills being left behind. According to a new study by U.S. News and World Report, 21.3% of drivers in Tennessee don't have car insurance, the 5th highest rate in the country. Rachel Brennan, who helped compile the study, wanted to find out why.
Part of the reason that we wrote this article was because the uninsured motorist data did not line up with the cost of insurance. Tennessee is relatively affordable as far as car insurance goes. In 2022, the average Tennessee driver paid $1,227 a year for car insurance. In 2023, it was $1,264.
Brennan says the high rate of uninsured drivers in Tennessee likely isn't about the cost of insurance, but the cost of living and poverty rate.
We found that a lot of places, the cost of living is just so expensive Minimum wage is incredibly low. Inflation is still hitting people significantly year after year. And so there are a number of factors that come together to make it so that if you have a limited budget, choosing to let go of your car insurance can sometimes feel like an easy solution to that.
The state with the highest uninsured driver rate, Mississippi, also has one of the highest poverty rates in the country. Washington, D.C., also topping the uninsured driver list, with housing costs almost 150% higher than the national average. And in Tennessee, more than 1 in 5 drivers lack coverage, as the state ranks in the top 10 for poverty, according to U.S. News and World Report. But going without car insurance in the volunteer state can land you into some trouble. It's a Class C misdemeanor that comes with a $300 fine and the potential to have your car towed.
But that doesn't even begin to touch what happens when you're in an accident and an uninsured driver who is at fault has no insurance to pay for the cost of the damages that they've caused to other people.
Having uninsured motorist coverage can help cover damage costs and medical bills if you're hit by a driver who doesn't have insurance. If not, your only recourse is to take them to court.
Now to our This Week cover story. Tennessee lawmakers are attempting to nullify a consequential Supreme Court decision. The State House approved legislation effectively challenging marriage equality. News 2's Kelly Milan explores what this could mean for Tennesseans and the legal challenges that will likely follow.
Tennessee lawmakers are revisiting a decision many Americans believed was settled. Last week, the House passed a bill seeking to clarify the Supreme Court's ruling in the landmark Obergefell v. Hodges case, which legalized same-sex marriage under the 14th Amendment. The bill's sponsor, Representative Gino Balzo, argues the ruling applies only to government entities, not private individuals or businesses.
What our bill does is it provides clarity for those who might have confusion.
But attorney Abby Rubenfeld, who helped lead the Tennessee case that became part of Obergefell v. Hodges, says there is no confusion to clear up.
We won. The court said what it said. There's nothing unclear about that. They just don't like the result.
Rubenfeld argues state lawmakers do not have the authority to reinterpret the Constitution.
State legislature can't give its own interpretation of the 14th Amendment. That's really cute of him to try to do, but it's illegal.
At issue is what this could mean for private businesses like hospitals, banks, funeral homes, doctors' offices, and whether they would be allowed to refuse to recognize same-sex marriages.
Are you going to be let in the hospital as the spouse? Are they going to put you on the birth certificate? But when the state starts to do stuff, it clearly violates Obergefell.
Last year, the Supreme Court declined to revisit Obergefell v. Hodges in a petition brought by former Kentucky clerk Kim Davis. For now, the ruling stands. Even if this passes the state Senate and is signed into law, it does not overturn Obergefell. Only the Supreme Court can do that. But there are concerns about the impact the bill could have.
First of all, it's going to create, chaos.
Rubenfeld warns such uncertainty can ripple through daily life. Balzo and other supporters insist the measure is about constitutional boundaries. Rubenfeld calls it something else.
I think it's totally a political stunt. And as I said before, we have so many issues here in Tennessee. Let's deal with the cost of living. Let's deal with the absence of affordable housing opportunities.
The bill still has a long way to go in the state Senate as it moves through the committee process. If it does pass and is signed into law, a legal challenge is likely to follow. Until then, nothing changes for married couples here in Tennessee. Back to you.
Thank you, Kelly. And stay with us. This Week continues in a moment. Welcome back to This Week. We caught up with Governor Bill Lee to ask him what, if any, notification his office had of the plans by ICE to build a massive detention facility in Lebanon. Whether his office knew of these plans in advance, as local officials did not. And while he supports ICE, did he support building a 16,000-bed detention facility in Tennessee?
And would a facility the size of what was planned in Lebanon, up to 16,000, concern you safety-wise?
Well, apparently that facility's not happening.
Others are being proposed and thrown around. If you've heard anything about those that you want to comment on.
Around the country?
Around the country and here in Tennessee.
I don't know of any plans for any here in Tennessee. My understanding is that, that particular project, there was a lot of information coming. We tried to find clarity along the way. My understanding is that project's not happening for whatever reason. So I don't know of other plans here in Tennessee.
Do you think that ICE failed to communicate with local officials and state officials on this proposed detention center for Lebanon?
I'm not sure what their process was. I do know they interacted ultimately with locals, and I think that probably had much to do with their decision-making process. I've seen communication from Department of Homeland Security that said after their local interaction, they made the determination not to locate that facility here, but I obviously didn't have those communications between DHS and locals. I know it happened, and they determined this wasn't the right place for it.
Well, you and other state officials support ICE's policies and so forth, yet nobody wanted a detention center here. Is there a conflict with that thought process?
So I think that it's very important that the right steps and the right strategies and the right plans be taken to make sure that we do what is incredibly important work that the American people want done, which is to make certain that our communities are safer.
The governor was asked if his office is aware of increased ICE activity in Tennessee, including an arrest in Nashville that resulted in a home being breached and windows broken.
The federal government determines the actions of federal officials, so we don't direct that. We don't direct those actions. I will say that we have a really difficult and complex illegal immigration problem in this country. I think everyone has recognized that. Americans don't want criminal elements in our street, legal or illegal, and we want to pursue those, and we want to be a partner with the federal government, but their actions are determined by the federal government.
State lawmakers are also voicing concerns about increased violence in Tennessee prisons, including a fatal stabbing of a prison guard.
Always concerned about the safety of both prisoners that we have an obligation to keep safe, and our correctional officers. Heartbreaking situation, terrible situation that happened, and my heart goes out to their family and the correctional officers that work so hard to provide safety in a very difficult environment. But there'll obviously be a full investigation of that and determine what's happened. We need to do everything we can to keep everyone inside of our correctional facilities safe.
Stay with us. This Week continues in a moment.
The anecdotes and the testimony that we have garnered from these families highlight, serious neglect, serious issues that have to be addressed.
A Tennessee lawmaker is calling on the feds to investigate the Department of Children's Services. Democratic Representative Afton Bain has been collecting stories from families who claim DCS is dragging out cases. Some of these families claim DCS has been keeping kids, especially those with disabilities, in horrible conditions. Here's News 2's Tori Gessner.
It's the department tasked with caring for Tennessee's most vulnerable. But the allegations against the Department of Children's Services claim they're doing the opposite.
We've reached a breaking point.
A department with a history of problems. Democratic Representative Afton Bain is now calling on the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate DCS, collecting stories from Tennessee families directly impacted.
Our office decided to file this complaint to elevate to the federal government that there is a pattern of negligence, noncompliance, systemic failures that are delivering serious harm to children.
Among the allegations, horrible living conditions for kids and accusations DCS segregates children who have disabilities. Families and disability rights groups have filed several lawsuits against the department, laying out multiple allegations of physical and psychological abuse. Plus, just this week, a new report by Tennessee's Second Look Commission highlighted a child in state custody reportedly using meth inside DCS offices, and another running away with a second child in state custody and sex trafficking them.
This spans across socioeconomic class. This spans across race. These kids are not being reunited with their families. And not only that, but particularly with kids with disabilities, we are just seeing abhorrent conditions within DCS, and it is unacceptable.
It comes as DCS is set to go before lawmakers today to ask for more money in the budget. Representative Bain says some Tennessee Republicans, which have a supermajority in the state, have said behind closed doors they're horrified at the allegations. She hopes some of them take her complaint and the story she's collected into consideration before giving DCS even more money.
As taxpayers, as citizens, as people who care about kids, we have to demand better from the institutions that are supposed to care and protect them.
Stay with us. This Week continues in a moment. Hope you enjoyed this beautiful weekend. Thank you for spending part of your weekend with us. That will do it for another edition of This Week. We'll hope to see you back here next weekend for another edition of This Week. Between now and then, enjoy your week.